What's the best martial art for the street? We're going to talk about that in this video. Stick around. Out here on the internet, dudes love to argue about what the best martial art for the street is, or which are the best martial arts for the street. But I want to go a little deeper in this video. The inspiration for this content came from a conversation I had with a young man earlier this week who asked me what I believed was the best martial art. My knee-jerk answer to him was violence. And of course I was referring to out in the real world. But if you ask me what I think the best martial art is, I'm going to tell you that I think a lot of martial arts hold great value, and they have their necessity in certain dimensions of the fight, whether it's standing, wrestling, or grappling. There have been champions in competition who were primarily karate practitioners. There have been champions who were primarily Muay Thai practitioners. It goes the same. You have predominant wrestling champions, predominant jiu-jitsu champions. What made them champions was the ability to do everything that was needed in an arena where it was all allowed. Out here in the real world, there's no bell, there's no referees, there's no timers, there's no borders, there's no octagon. There is no rules, and it's going to come down to violence. Now, let me say this as well. I'm not one of those guys who tries to negate the skills that are used in martial arts competition in the name of eye gouging, throat grabbing, attacks to the groin, biting, and all that kind of stuff. All of those things go in the pile with everything else. A lot of times people feel insecure to like successful MMA fighters, and they will talk about these MMA fighters like they're not on their same level because, you know, out in the real world, you know, I can fight dirty. It's nothing but rules in the octagon. Right, and these same MMA fighters outside of the octagon can commit the same dirty acts of violence that you and I can. Sometimes in the street, a fight will look like an MMA match for maybe a short time before it turns into something else. Punches matter, kicks matter, wrestling matters, jiu-jitsu matters, everything matters. But out in the real world, it's about translating that into enough violence to survive. And my concern with a lot of people is not that they don't have enough talent or skill set. My concern is that they don't have enough savagery and capability for violence. It's hard to put the words success and violence all in the same sentence unless we're talking about survival. And I believe that martial arts training makes us more capable of being successful when we need to be violent for our survival. But what we must understand is there are so many people out in these streets who have had not one lick of martial arts training, but they are very dangerous people because of their capability to do just general savage violence. When I think about the animal kingdom, I think about the honey badger. Now, we could make a lot of jokes about the honey badger and about how he just doesn't care, right? Maybe you've seen that video. It's hilarious. Something I would encourage you to do is to watch videos of the honey badger. Watch how they fight and watch how they defend themselves and watch how ferocious these little creatures can get. You'd be surprised the things that these little animals can overcome. I've seen honey badgers successfully survive the attempt of like 3 lionesses on their head. It's just something about how they're wired and how they operate. But they're also very durable creatures. They're built in a very durable way. I can't necessarily compare a human to a honey badger, but you can look at the essence of how they are. As far as the durability of a honey badger, that's why we promote training and fitness and getting harder. What the honey badger has is a massive level of ferocious killer instinct. When they're being attacked, there's a tenacity about these creatures. They are in the moment, they are accepting of what's going on, and their level of determination to fight back and escape is on another level. But what does it take to have what does it take for you and I to have a greater sense of killer instinct? Number one, we need a righteous indignation. People don't have the right to come take our life or someone else we love. And we can't take this matter lightly, and we got to know what we're fighting for. And this is where combatives training comes in. every kind of fight training there is, various weapons, physical training, hand-to-hand combat training, wrestling, grappling, utilizing your environment around you, recognizing every way possible that you can be violent in order to survive. If you can run, if you can get out of there, do it. That's always the rule. My point is, life will not always give you that chance. In the real world, it's not simply a boxing match. It's not a Muay Thai competition. It's not a wrestling match, a jiu-jitsu tournament. In the real world, it's whatever it takes to survive, whether it's utilizing a certain martial art in a situation, whether it's biting somebody's ear off, whether it's biting to get away, whether it is sticking your thumb in somebody's eye, whether it is smashing them over the head with a frying pan, knocking a car door into their face. Whatever it is that it takes for you to get out of there is the martial art that's best for the street. But you got to embrace it mentally. You got to be committed to your survival, and you got to be training each and every day to become a tougher, harder, stronger, more determined individual like the honey badger. Thanks for watching. Take care.